Okay, we may begin.
Thank you, Josie. Welcome to the Cannabis Regulation Commission meeting. Today is Thursday, January 20th, 2022. The time now is 2:01 p.m. I am President Robert Ahn, and I'll be chairing this meeting. The following commissioners have also joined this meeting virtually via Zoom: Vice President Mason, Commissioners Naro, Mercado, and Villa. DCR's Executive Director, Kat Packer, has also joined this meeting, along with members of the department and the City Attorney's Office. This being the first commission hearing for the new year, I just want to wish everyone a happy new year, wish you good health, and please stay safe out there, and best regards to you and your family and loved ones. General instructions, I'm going to go over some housekeeping items before we start. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this meeting is being conducted virtually via Zoom and is being live streamed on DCR's website. You may watch this meeting by visiting cannabis.lacd.org and click the About menu item on the top. Under the About menu, click the Commission Meetings link, scroll down to the bottom of the Commission Meetings page to find the live stream. You may also listen to this meeting by calling council phone at 213-621-2489 or 818-904-9450. Members of the public who want to offer public comment may call one of the two toll-free numbers, 877-853-5257 or 888-475-4499, and enter meeting ID 860-838-7310. These numbers can also be found on the agenda for this meeting. Agenda for today's meeting can be found on the department's website at cannabis.lacd.org and navigating to the commission page under the About menu. This meeting is being recorded. Therefore, we ask commissioners, staff, and members of the public to make sure to state your name clearly before you speak. The audio file will be posted online within 48 hours of the meeting. If you are in the Zoom call, when the item you wish to speak on is called, press *9 to get on the speaking queue. The Commission Executive Assistant will call out each speaker by the last 4 digits of their phone number to identify the caller. The caller will be prompted to unmute themselves by dialing *6. If there are no other items you wish to speak on, you may disconnect from this call and view the meeting via the live stream or dial council phone to listen only. We'll be following the agenda order today. Today's presentation to the Commission will be available on the department's website within 2 business days from this meeting. We will consider general public comment and single or multiple agenda items together. Therefore, speakers will have 1 minute for general public comment and 1 minute per item, with a maximum of 2 minutes for multiple items. We ask that speakers state whether they are providing general public comment and or which other items they are speaking on before they begin to comment so that staff can appropriately time them. If the speaker does not specify which items they are speaking on, only 1 minute will be provided. With that, we'll go ahead and open general public comment and single or multiple agenda items at this time. Speakers can address the Commission on non-agenda related items, provided they're within the jurisdiction of the Commission, or provide public comment for items in today's agenda by dialing *9 on your telephone. If you're listening on the live stream and have called to provide public comment, please mute the live stream before you begin speaking to eliminate any feedback. Okay, commissioners, staff, please mute your microphones. Ms. Treviso, please call the first speaker.
If anyone wishes to provide public comment, please dial *9. If you wish to provide public comment, please dial *9.
Do we have anyone in the waiting room?
We do now. Caller with phone number ending in 8577, please state your name and the items you wish to speak on. Caller with phone number.
Hi guys, this is Owen from African Boutique. I'm not too sure on the format exactly what public comment is, but my advisor asked me to just throw in the question regarding cultivation being able to change districts. Thank you.
Thank you.
And when that's submitted, thank you.
If anyone wishes to provide public comment, please dial *9.
Mr. Treviso, let's give it another 30 seconds. See if there's any other last minute callers.
Sure.
Okay, I'm not seeing any other callers. With that, I'm going to go ahead and close both the general public comment and the single or multiple agenda item public comment periods. And we'll move on to item number 1. Commissioners, you should have received an advance calendar in front of you for future meeting dates. Please take a look and advise if there's any planned absences for the next couple of hearings.
This is Vice President. No planned absence.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Seeing none, let's move on to the approval of the minutes. We were sent the minutes of December 30th, 2021 for review. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
This is Commissioner Villa. I move to approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion from Commissioner Villa. Do I have a second?
It's Commissioner Mercado. I can second.
All right, we've got a second from Commissioner Mercado. Mr. Treviso, please call the roll.
Commissioner Villa, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Mercado, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Naro, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice President Mason, how do you vote?
Abstain.
Okay. And Vice President On, how do you vote?
I also abstain.
The vote is 3-0 and the motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to commission announcements and updates. Commissioners, do we have any announcements or updates to share at this time? Okay, then let's move on to future agenda item requests. Commissioners, do you have any agenda requests for the future meetings? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to item number 2. I'm sorry,
I'm sorry, it's Vice President Mason. I was thinking, I do have a request at some point. I'd like an update on what the community outreach efforts will be for 2022.
Okay, got it. Staff, can we make note of that request?
Sure, we'll make note of it.
Thank you. Okay, item number 2 is the finding to continue teleconference meetings pursuant to AB 361. AB 361 requires that all legislative bodies make findings concerning the state of emergency stemming from the COVID-19 pandemic to continue holding virtual meetings. Do I have a motion to approve and continue teleconference meetings pursuant to AB 361?
Commissioner Villa, I move to continue teleconference meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Commissioner Mercado. I second.
Thank you, Commissioner. Ms. Treviso, before we move on, let me just clarify the language. The motion will be that the commission determine in accordance with AB 361, Section 3E3, that this legislative body has considered the circumstances of the state of emergency and that the state of emergency continues to directly impact the ability of the members to meet safely in person and/or state or local officials to continue to impose or recommend measures to promote social distancing. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Villa, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Commissioner Mercado, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Naro, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice President Mason, how do you vote?
Aye.
President On, how do you vote?
Aye.
The vote is 5-0 and the motion passes.
Thank you for that. Item number 3 is the policy update from the Department of Cannabis Regulation. Do we have a presentation from staff today?
We do. Thank you, President On.
Ms. Packer, before you begin, for item number 3, do you have an estimate of how many minutes approximately you think this presentation will take?
Yeah, so I think for all of our agenda items together, President On, our presentation should be about 30 minutes. So I'm estimating about 10 minutes or less of a presentation.
For item 3?
Yes, 10 minutes or less for item number 3, correct.
The only reason I ask is because around 3 o'clock, I've got to take care of a personal matter for about 30 minutes, at which point Vice President Mason will conduct the meetings on my behalf.
Okay.
But let's continue. I just want to put it out there.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
So the department does have a series of presentations in relation to agenda items 3, 4, and 5 this afternoon. I'll be joined by staff, my Assistant Executive Director, Jason Colleen, who will lead presentations regarding agenda items 3 and 4, and Dr. Amani Brown, who will lead agenda item number 5, in relation to reports regarding the social equity program. Before we get into our substantive report and presentation today, I also just want to say Happy New Year to our commissioners and to folks who are joining us. We have lots of exciting things planned for 2022, lots of exciting announcements and expansions to our licensing and social equity program. So with that, I'll kick it over to Jason, who will give us our policy update. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Good afternoon, Commissioners, and Happy New Year. We're going to start the presentation with just a high-level overview of our proposed budget. Next slide, please. As everybody knows, the proposed budget is an ongoing process. The department transmits its request to the mayor's office. The mayor transmits his proposed budget to the city council in April, and then the city council deliberates on the proposed budget through the end of May, and then the city formally adopts a budget in early June. At this point, our budget request has been submitted and it's pending before the mayor's office. We have not had any hearings with the mayor and or the CAO at this point. DCR requested a continuation of all of its existing position authorities as well as funding resources. So we want to maintain what we have. We requested an additional 21 positions to expand our licensing section, create a compliance and enforcement section, provide increased access to information assistance to and engagement with our social equity applicants, and to provide administrative support across the entire department to improve DCR's day-to-day operations. These positions will be divided across our licensing and regulation section, compliance and enforcement section, social equity program, and administrative support programs. DCR also requested a $20 million appropriation from the general fund, which would be backed by cannabis business tax revenue to support our social equity program and to create a unified central unlicensed business enforcement unit that would be administered by the Department of Cannabis Regulation. As the commission knows, DCR does not currently have any active role in dealing with unlicensed commercial cannabis businesses. And in order to kind of get our arms around this issue, DCR should play a more active role with our partners at the police department, fire department, building and safety, and water and power. So we've been in discussions with the mayor's office about that. Next slide, please. Now I'm going to transition to council file number 22-0026. This is associated with the California Local Jurisdiction Assistance Grant Program, or CLJAG. As the commissioners know, DCR submitted an application to the state to get grant funding to support this program. The grant funding is intended to help transition existing applicants and licensees through the state's annual licensure process. On December 24th, the state notified DCR that it was awarded the full amount of just over $22 million to support this effort over 3 years. On January 7th of 2022, Council members Harris Dawson and Price introduced a resolution to accept the grant award. And on January 13th, the adoption of that resolution was finalized by the mayor and city council. So at this point, DCR has been granted authority to accept these grant monies, and we've transmitted the necessary paperwork to the state, and we're waiting for them to distribute the monies to the department so that we can begin utilizing them. Next slide, please. So this all ties into what is currently pending before the city council under council file number 21-1083, which is a council file associated with a motion to augment the cannabis licensing process. On January 19th of 2022, council members Harris Dawson and Price introduced a motion that included pages previously omitted from their original September 29th, 2021 motion. DCR has been working with their staff to refine the recommendations included in the original motion, the additional information provided by the subsequent motion, as well as the department's reports, which were transmitted before the Plum Committee and Budget and Finance Committees last year. Based on those conversations, which have been very productive, DCR plans to transmit an addendum report with updated recommendation language. The intent of that report is to streamline all of the various recommendations that have been before policymakers up until this point. So hopefully one unified document can move through the committee process into full council. Those proposed amendments to the municipal code will be based on the intent of the original motion language, the additional language provided by the council members in January, as well as DCR's recommendations. The intent of the recommendations would be to establish defined processing timelines to assist our applicants and licensees and give them peace of mind that if they submit all of the required information, their service requests, whether it's an application, pre-application review, or modification, would be processed within a given time frame. In order to effectuate that, of course, we do need additional resources. Given the fact that we did receive the $22 million, which was mentioned in their original motion, now we're in a position to request position authority to implement that grant programming and add additional staff to move our applicants and licensees through an environmental review or CEQA process, as well as begin the annual licensure application process so that our applicants and licensees can seamlessly transition from their provisional licenses to annual licenses at the state level. Without these additional positions, of course, DCR would be unable to meet the proposed processing timelines included in their motion without creating significant delays to other processes such as program delivery through the social equity program, and our ability to transition people into the local annual licensure process, which would then, of course, delay them in obtaining their state annual licenses, which nobody wants to do. So there's been a lot of moving pieces, and everything basically ties back into this initial council file. So once we were awarded this grant funding and we've accepted the grant award, now we're in a position to start adding the resources utilizing those grant funds, which will help effectuate the motion that council members Harris Dawson and Price introduced. And of course, we've been working very closely with their offices to kind of refine those recommendations so that they can review them and hopefully adopt them in the coming months. Next slide, please. This concludes the formal presentation for agenda item number 3. I turn it back over to you, Commission President.
Mr. Clean. Let's go ahead and move to item number 4. It's a licensing report from the Department of Cannabis Regulation. Staff, who's proceeding on this one?
I will be presenting these
Mr.
slides as
Clean.
well, sir.
Okay, Mr. Clean, please proceed.
Thank you. Next slide, please. This slide provides an image of the different license types that are currently available through the Department of Cannabis Regulation. Next slide, please. As of October 1st, 2021, DCR is accepting new applications for the following commercial cannabis activities via the DCR licensing portal. From social equity applicants, we're accepting delivery and micro business delivery applications, as well as nursery applications. All applicants are able to submit applications for distribution transport only, non-volatile manufacturing, the non-volatile manufacturing, packaging and labeling, non-volatile manufacturing and infusion, and non-volatile manufacturing shared facilities, as well as a cultivation processor and testing applications. Next slide, please. Some of these activities were previously provided under higher level commercial cannabis license types. Nursery allows for prospective cultivators that only grow clones, immature plants, or seeds that are used for propagation to obtain a license. The processor license allows for cultivators that only trim, cure, dry, grade, or package label cannabis to obtain a license. It does not give them the ability to grow. Next slide, please. The Type 6 non-volatile manufacturing license has always been available. That allows folks to engage in all non-volatile manufacturing activities. However, as of October 1st, DCR has allowed for folks to start applying for more defined non-volatile manufacturing licenses, such as the Type N, which allows for the infusion of products, Type P, which allows for packaging and labeling, and Type S, which allows for shared use facilities. Next slide, please. DCR also has 2 different types of distribution licenses. One is the full distribution license, which allows for licensees to move cannabis and cannabis products between cultivation, manufacturing, or distribution premises, as well as move finished cannabis goods to retail premises. This is a B2B license. We also offer the distribution transport only license, which only allows for folks to move cannabis and cannabis products between cultivation, manufacturing, or distribution premises. We do also accept applications for testing laboratories, which allow for folks to test the cannabis goods prior to the sale at a retailer. Next slide, please. A quick overview of how to apply. We refined our process last year. It allows for prospective applicants to go through a pre-application review process where the applicant submits a proposed business premises location that is checked for compliance and eligibility against the municipal code requirements. Folks can go through the pre-application review process if they know a proposed business location and the landowner signs an attestation form. They do not have to have site control or an executed lease. If they are deemed eligible for further processing, then the applicant is able to submit a full temporary approval application. With our refined process, folks should be able to navigate through the temporary approval process in about 60 to 90 days from the date that their temporary approval application is deemed filed, which is the date that all of the necessary temporary approval documents are in the correct form and manner and they're complete. And that's when we're able to complete our full review. Folks are able to obtain a status of local compliance underway once the TA application is deemed complete. Then, of course, that opens up the pathway for them to request an initial inspection. If applicable, go through the equity share review. We are no longer requiring people to provide proof that they've received a state license, nor do they have to navigate through the fire department or building and safety processes before receiving temporary approval. They can do it in parallel with our process. Next slide, please. In terms of general updates for our licensees, DCR is still accepting late 2022 renewal applications through Monday, February 28th, 2022. Businesses that did not timely submit a 2022 renewal application do not have an active license. Therefore, those businesses may not operate until they submit a late 2022 renewal application, and DCR processes that application to temporary approval. DCR recently rolled out a new service, which is our expedited services, on December 27th, 2021. Folks are able to request expedited services for most of our processes, which include pre-application review, temporary approval, or equity shared document review. This can be requested by submitting a record through the DCR licensing portal, and within 72 hours of submitting that record, emailing DCR licensing at lecity.org and requesting the expedited processing of that record. The email subject line should be expedited processing request for DCR record number, and then they'd insert their record number, and they need to indicate whether they're requesting expedited services at the level 1, which would be 25% faster, or the level 2, which is 50% faster. A chart of the applicable expedited services fees is available on DCR's website. Once we've reviewed that request, DCR personnel will go ahead and go into the record, add the applicable fees, and then email the requester an updated invoice that includes those applicable expedited services fees. And then, of course, once the invoice is paid, DCR then will assign it to an analyst and then begin providing those services on an overtime basis. Next slide, please. To give the commission an update on the number of business premises and the record statuses, we have this current image. Currently, DCR has 594 licensed commercial cannabis locations throughout the city. We have another 142 locations that their temporary approval application has been processed to a status of local compliance underway. So those folks are eligible to submit their state provisional applications. And if the state reaches out to DCR, we will notify the state that those businesses have a status of local compliance underway, which would enable the state to issue them a provisional license. We also have another 322 locations that have pending temporary approval applications. In regards to our pre-application review process, 29 businesses have a status of eligible for further processing, which is the status they receive after we've determined that their proposed business location is eligible and compliant. Those folks have the opportunity to submit a complete temporary approval application within 1 year of getting their eligible for further processing notification. And then we have an additional 55 locations that have started the pre-application review process. Based on our refined process that reopened on October 1st, we are processing most pre-applications within 30 days. The only time we may not be processing it within 30 days is if we need additional information from the applicant because their proposed location either is too close to a sensitive use or maybe too close to a sensitive use, and we need more detailed information such as a premises diagram, or there may be an eligibility issue that we were trying to resolve in terms of there could have been unlicensed commercial cannabis activity, it could have been the site of a DWP power disconnection, or some other type of unlicensed commercial cannabis enforcement action may have been taken at that property, and DCR is in the process of reviewing to determine whether or not the location is eligible or ineligible based on the available information. And last but not least, we do have one pending public convenience or necessity request, which is pending before the City Council. The City Council has up to 90 days to make the necessary PCN findings for that individual to be allowed to submit a temporary approval application. If the findings are not made within 90 days, the PCN request is deemed denied by operation of law. So in total, there is 1,143 distinct business premises in our current process. Next slide, please. And I just would like to now give the commission a breakdown of our phase 3 retail round 1 applicants. To date, we have 120 businesses that have uploaded one or more of the required temporary approval documents, which is a jump from the last time we reported this information. About half of them have uploaded the minimum number of completed temporary approval documents and are eligible for a status of local compliance underway. 47 of the 59 have scheduled an initial inspection with DCR. 45 of those 47 have passed their initial DCR inspection, and to date, 39 have received temporary approval. Next slide, please. And that ends the formal presentation for agenda item number 4. I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Colleen. Let's go over to agenda item number 5. Item number 5 is the Social Equity Program report from the Department of Cannabis Regulation. Is this going to be Dr. Brown?
Yes.
Hello, Dr. Brown.
Hello. Can everyone see me?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, great. Happy New Year, commissioners and stakeholders. I'm wishing continued health and wellness to everybody in attendance. For today, I'd like to provide a high-level overview of the Department's social equity programs, content, events, and resources. Now, as always, I'd like to share the mission statement for those of you who are just joining the commission meetings for the first time. Mission of the social equity program is to promote equitable ownership and employment opportunities in the cannabis industry in order to decrease disparities in life outcomes for marginalized communities and to address the disproportionate impacts of the war on drugs in those communities. Slide, please. Program benefits and resources. Go over some application processing, our business licensing and compliance assistance program, seed grant program, and our pro bono legal services. Next slide, please. For application processing. Now, this slide shows the license types currently available to social equity applicants now that our licensing portal has resumed operations as of October 1st, 2021. And please keep in mind that cultivation, delivery, and retail licenses are solely available to social equity applicants through January 1st, 2025. Next slide, please. And now I will provide some updates on our business licensing and compliance program. Next slide. This is an overview. In 2022, we do have an exciting lineup of new offerings for the business licensing and compliance content through April of 2022. First, we have our monthly beachside chats, which feature panels of cannabis experts discussing the hottest topics in cannabis cybersecurity and live Q&A for the audience. We are continuing our live webinar series with 29 webinars throughout April. These webinars will cover topics ranging from licensing to career pathways to raising capital, as well as a deeper dive into some of the favorite fall topics. We haven't expanded the pre-recorded videos for our learning management system that will include additional pre-recorded videos on a wide range of topics pertinent to all cannabis businesses. As a new offering this year, we are hosting 70 hours of office hours, which will consist of small group Q&A sessions with subject matter experts. This is a chance for social equity individual applicants to ask questions relevant to their business or their career pathway goals. Next slide. Our learning management system. Our online learning management system, or LMS, launched this fall. All verified social equity individual applicants, which is approximately 1,600, have received an email with their unique login information. Now, as a reminder, we ask that all verified social equity applicants ensure that the department has their accurate and up-to-date contact information. We need to be able to reach you individually to deliver these new and exciting programs. Next slide, please. This slide shows our users, what our users will see once they are able to log on to our LMS. The homepage features a welcome video from Director Packer and information about the BLC program. Users can then use the navigation on the right-hand side to browse online courses, download digital assets, and see a calendar of events and much more. Our next month's commission meeting will demo the LMS platform for you. Next slide, please. Our January webinar series. We're really excited about this. Our January webinar series focuses on how to apply for commercial cannabis licenses in the city of LA. Each webinar breaks down a different part of the licensure process and advises applicants on how to successfully complete each portion. As you can see, there is a webinar scheduled for this evening at 6 p.m. There's still time to register. Simply go on DCR's website at cannabis.lacity.org, then go to the social equity page, and then the business licensing and compliance drop-down menu. Next slide, please. Career pathways for growth in the cannabis industry. This series works with social equity workers, local hires, and traditional workers who are interested in careers in cannabis and coaches them on finding a career pathway that's best suited to their strengths and interests and identifying compatible employers. We had one on the 18th of January, and we will have another session on the 25th. Again, you can go on our website and register. Next slide, please. Our February events. This slide shows our upcoming webinars for February, including some exciting topics on commercial leases and negotiation, identifying funds and raising capital, equity share requirements, state and local hiring compliance, and much more. We really hope to see our applicants and licensees participate in these webinars. Next slide, please. Now I'd like to provide an update on our seed grant program. Now, based on some of the comments that we received from stakeholders from our commission meetings, I would like to remind our commissioners and stakeholders that the deadlines for the seed grant program were informed by state deadlines. The initial seed grant monies were distributed to existing applicants. However, future grant funding is earmarked for prospective applicants, which will be made available as part of future grant distribution periods. In April of 2021, the City of Los Angeles did establish the Social Equity Entrepreneur Development Grant Program, or SEED grant program. The SEED program utilized funding from the Cannabis Equity Grant for Local Jurisdictions, or the CEG grant, that provided financial assistance to verified social equity individual applicants. Now, to date, the City of LA has dedicated $6 million to the SEED grant program. $5 million went to SEED 1.0 and $1 million went to SEED 2.0. The application period opened April 20th and it closed August 18th. Next slide, please. The SEED grant program is administered in partnership with Elevate Impact LA, which is a female minority-owned business. At the close of the grant period, 148 Phase 3 retail round 1 applicants received $25,000 each. Next slide, please. SEED 2.0, at the close of the grant period, 58 social equity applicants who had been deemed eligible for further processing and who had achieved a status of local compliance underway received grants up to $10,000. Next slide, please. On December 6th, all remaining grant funds were distributed amongst the grant recipients on a pro rata basis. The funds remaining from $5 million were distributed evenly among 148 SEED Grant 1.0 applicants, and the funds remaining from the $1 million were distributed evenly to all 58 SEED 2.0 applicants. Next slide. We are so proud of this. As of December 6th, 2021, the City of Los Angeles dispersed all $6 million to 206 social equity applicants and licensees. Distributed all of the money for the grant. Next slide, please. Now going on to our pro bono legal assistance program. DCR has expanded the eligibility for the pro bono legal assistance program, which will include delivery-only applicants who are deemed eligible for further processing. Next slide, please. Now, this is a screenshot of the page where you can sign up for this service. So please complete the online survey, as you can see in blue, and upload the authorization agreement to complete this process. It's a very simple process, and we encourage folks to take advantage of this free legal service. And we will give you more information as we continue to build out this program. And with that, I'd like to conclude this update on the social equity program and turn it back over to Director Packer. Thank you, everybody.
So thank you so much, Dr. Brown. That concludes our presentation for agenda item number 5 and our presentations for the afternoon. But of course, if any of the commissioners have questions or comments, myself and my staff will be here to answer them.
Sure. Okay, thank you. I want to thank staff, in particular, Mr. Colleen, Executive Director Packer, and also Dr. Brown for your presentations today. I just want to open up the floor to any questions, deliberations regarding the presentations that we've heard.
President, Vice President Mason, if you want to go ahead and recognize Commissioner Narl, his hand was raised.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that. Commissioner Naro.
Yes, thank you. And thank you so much again.
Yeah.
I always benefit so much from these presentations. I do have maybe ask the questions. It's 2 questions, but I can ask them both because they may be connected. But you mentioned the $22 million that we just will either received or about to receive from the state. Can you break down the how, itemize how that will be used? And then my second question is related to Dr. Brown's presentation on the SEED grant. I know in the past we talked about devoting resources to business development or help assist, not so much with the with the support grants, but like business development for those who are new to this industry. So those are my 2 questions.
Absolutely. I appreciate these questions, Commissioner Naro. In reference in response to questions related to the $22 million grant, which we applied for, these dollars have been announced as awarded to the department. And as staff have communicated, we have submitted all of the paperwork necessary to receive those dollars, but we have yet to receive those dollars within the city of Los Angeles account. We will be following up to share with this body a full itemized expenditure plan for the grant. Our expenditure plan is consistent with the grant application that we submitted. And of course, that was the application detailed the operations and how we'll be expending those dollars. But part of what we want to be able to do next, Commissioner Naro, as was mentioned by Assistant Executive Director Jason Colleen, is we're hoping to bring to council a package. And for this package to have both a consideration of expenditure plans needed to put the $22 million to use and to essentially allow us to utilize those dollars to transition folks into the provisional licensing process, but also to allow us to administer our licensing processes much more expeditiously. But at the same time that we move that package, we're hopeful because of productive conversations that we've recently had with staff from Council Districts 8 and 9 who originally introduced the motion, that we've come to some political compromises that will, it doesn't resolve all of our issues, but I think that we found a reasonable way to move forward on 70% of our issues. And so it's our hope that we can at least advance those particular items together with this grant package. And so what you'll be seeing from the department, what the council should expect from the department very soon, is a report that includes both this interim budget request with our full expenditure plan, as well as essentially new policy recommendations that are the product of productive conversations that we've had with Council Districts 8 and 9 thus far. So I'm looking forward to coming back to this body to share information about both of those items respectively. But from a timing perspective, we want to be able to move with urgency, both on the legislation and our budget needs. And so we're intentionally asking and advocating that these items move forward as a package. Because the expenditure plan itself will be submitted in the form of a report, we can make sure that that's added to the next agenda, and we can have a detailed conversation about that expenditure plan, answer any questions that you all have after you all have had an opportunity to review it in its entirety. I'm going to pivot and I'll bring Dr. Brown in to provide more detailed information in relation to your second question in terms of programming for social equity applicants and licensees. I believe your question was trying to figure out what information, what resources we had dedicated to business development. And as Dr. Brown mentioned, I just want to use this as an opportunity to congratulate her. Her and her team were able to successfully distribute all $6 million that we dedicated to the SEED grant program. I remember back in the spring and summer of last year, we were sharing pretty low numbers in terms of folks who were applying for free money. And really, Dr. Brown and her team did a lot of extensive work to make sure that stakeholders knew about those resources. Because of her and her team, there are now over 200 applicants who are beneficiaries of that program. And that means every single dollar that we got for financial assistance through the grant program has been allocated. So we're looking for more money to allocate. But in terms of business development programming, Commissioner Naro, we have thus far built business development programming under the umbrella of our business licensing and compliance assistance program. And Dr. Brown at commission meetings continues to share information about what the progress of that program is. And I know that we had lots of webinars and programs, including a job fair, an industry fair, and Tech Week last year. But Dr. Brown and her team have been busy building a whole host of curriculum. I want to make sure, team, if we can make a note, I want to make sure that the commissioners have access to the learning management system that we put together for our social equity applicants. All of our social equity applicants, when I say all of them, that means all 1,600 plus folks who have been verified as social equity applicants have on-demand access 24/7 to what I want to say is over 24 webinars and videos and other digital assets that have been put together, hours and hours of content on lots of different topics that we would consider to be under this umbrella of business development. One is happening tonight. Want to pass it back over to Dr. Brown. We want to use this as an opportunity to plug that program. But if there are specific elements, webinars, Dr. Brown, office hours, please share additional information with Commissioner Naro about some of the business development programming that we have coming down the pipeline under the umbrella of business licensing and compliance assistance.
Thank you so much. We have a host and a litany of workshops and one-on-one types of programming, but also we have a capital caseworkers program that we're building out, Commissioner Naro, that will help individuals access capital, how to access funding, how to attract investors that are not predatory investors, and things of that nature. In terms of the grant, the state dictates specifically what those grant funds can be spent on in terms of direct assistance. They were only allowed to spend it on like rent and leasing and legal assistance, regulatory compliance, fixtures, equipment, furniture. So they have strict compliance issues in terms of what the grant recipients could spend that grant money on. So we've come back and tried to build out our business development program through our general fund programming, the business licensing and compliance. And Director Packer just named a few, but we're building this out and trying to go after private dollars, pairing equity applicants with investors and other institutional resources where they can attract funding. We all know that the major barrier to access is the major barrier to entry in the cannabis industry is access to capital, specifically for our social equity community. So we're addressing those, pain points in a very innovative and intentional way. So we're really excited to share as we build this out with the commission, and just stay tuned, more to come.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you.
Sorry, I was on mute. Vice President Mason.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy. I'm gonna pretty much echo everything everyone who spoke before me said by saying Happy New Year to everyone. And I am happy to be back in this space with you all and continuing the work that we have started and continue to build upon. And wish everyone just sound health and mind and good energy around them as we move forward and continue to grow. I'm going to congratulate Dr. Brown on the complete distribution of the $6 million. And hopefully some of those recipients will come back to us and share with us how they used the money and how it helped to improve their businesses. I'd like to hear that. So I know it's not a mandatory part of them receiving the benefits, but it would be nice to hear that we've done something positive and that someone has benefited from those efforts. So if we could extend an invitation, hopefully at least one person will accept it.
We are thinking exactly what we're doing. We're having folks come in and tell their success stories, and we are getting them on tape so that they can talk about how the grant monies have helped them build out their businesses, and all of our content and training have helped them to just navigate the compliance issues on the state and local level. So you're going to be seeing that very soon. And it's really wonderful to see people excited and happy with us, if you will. So you'll be seeing that very soon. We're doing that as we speak.
Thank you. And then thank you too for the schedule for the next couple of months, the beachside chats and all of the other information modules that are happening. I'm gonna pull out my phone and go to the website and register for some of them, because even though we have a well built out website, and there's lots of content there, we still have people who will, and I'm sure the other commissioners experience this, people come up to me and ask questions and I'm like, the website is great. And you're like, but I wanna know right now. So
that's for the one-on-one and office hours. We're really hoping that helps people to get some one-on-one answered question with subject matter experts. And we're just, as we grow, we're learning what the community needs, and we're addressing that through our programming.
Excellent, excellent. And then I had a question for executive, for Assistant Director Colleen, and you outlined, I'm looking at my notes here, that there in the budget, there were requests for 21 additional bodies to join the team. And I was wondering, do we know how many of those bodies would be dedicated to the social equity yet, or is that something that's going to be determined down?
I can give me a minute and I'll pull up the numbers. But a lot of the positions, because everybody wears multiple hats, will ultimately support all of the programs. What it'll do is it'll allow the managers like Dr. Brown to better allocate their existing resources directly to and solely for social equity programming, because we won't have to pull people over to the licensing side on an overtime basis, or when we're doing workshops or outreach to do licensing related matters directly. They can focus solely on the social equity programming and doing the workshops and doing the engagement after normal business hours. Give me one sec. But I think we have 4 positions that have a direct impact on her ability to run an effective social equity program.
Awesome, thank you so much.
I'm sorry, Vice President Mason, I've got to step away. Would you mind taking role of chair in my absence?
I will, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, if Jason is finished, our next question comes from Commissioner Villa.
Thank you. My question is for Director Packer. Director Packer, you mentioned that you're planning to present a budget report to council. I just wondered what was your timeline for submitting that, your estimated timeline?
Thank you, Commissioner Villa. It's our intention to have this report submitted in a part of the council file by the 1st of February. And so within the next several weeks, a package will be submitted that not only includes our interim budget request, but also updated policy recommendations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Villa. Director Packer, can you provide that council file number so that we can subscribe to it and get the updates?
Yes. Jason, do you have more ready access to the council file number? And Jason, you are on mute.
My apologies. The council file number is 21-1083, and the interim budget request will tie into that council file and hopefully move hand in hand with the recommended updates to the cannabis licensing process.
Thank you. And if someone from the department could, because I don't want to explain it wrong, send the commissioners an email about, for those who don't know, how to subscribe to a council file so that they can receive notifications when documents are uploaded and as it's scheduled for city council and for committee hearings.
Absolutely, Vice President Mason. I'll make sure that staff take the lead on sending that information when this meeting concludes.
Okay, thank you. Did any other commissioners have any questions or comments regarding today's presentation? Okay, I see no additional hands, so thank you everyone for being here. The time is 2:57 p.m. and this meeting is adjourned.